At this moment in time, you're under arrest on suspicion of manslaughter. You didn't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence, okay?
We should have been preparing to celebrate Archie's 8th birthday as a family in a matter of weeks. Instead, our beautiful boy, who should have been safe sleeping in his own home, had his life cruelly taken away in just an instant. Forever 7. Archie was loved beyond words and is missed beyond measure. He was more than a name in a case. He was our sunshine, our joy, our heart and our son. No sentence will ever bring our boy back. No justice can fill a hole he's left. But I need you all to know the depth of devastation that they have caused. We now respectfully ask that we are given the time and privacy to grieve as we try to come to terms with our devastating loss. Thank you.
Katherine, is 14 years enough?
No.
No. Thank you. Thank you.
Today, our thoughts remain with the family of Archie York, whose tragic death last year shocked the community of Benwell. The explosion which claimed his life was caused by a catastrophic build-up of butane gas in the downstairs neighbouring address, used by Jason Laws, who was also killed in the blast. Within that downstairs property, Reece Galbraith was part of an illegal operation producing a highly concentrated form of cannabis. This was an incredibly dangerous process involving the use of large quantities of highly flammable gas, which was being stored without appropriate ventilation. The decision of those involved to conduct this operation in a busy residential area was completely reckless, and the tragic consequences of their actions have been utterly devastating. The Crown Prosecution Service has worked closely with Northumbria Police to build a strong case against Galbraith, which has been instrumental in securing his sentence today. We only hope that for Archie York's family, some solace can be taken in seeing Galbraith jailed for his actions. Thank you.
Is it Reece? Reece, at this moment in time, you're under arrest on suspicion of manslaughter. You didn't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence, okay? The necessity for the arrest is for a prompt and effective investigation by way of questioning, okay?
He was a fun-loving 7-year-old boy. He loved school, he loved his friends, he loved his family, he just loved everyone's attention.
What sort of stuff did you like
He
doing?
loved Marvel, he loved playing on Fortnite, and I liked how he liked to play on Fortnite because that was the only way he would eat his tea. So he come home from school and he says, can I play on my game? Says, you've got to eat all your tea first. So he did, and that's how he was allowed to play on that. He loved playing football with his dad. He just loved being a big brother to Finley as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, he'd only just had a little new brother, had he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he kind of dote over him?
He did, yeah. And I was quite worried because there was a 7-year age gap. And with Archie being 7, he's had mine and his dad's attention for all of them years without our attention being shared out. So I was really worried, but he just approached it really well.
There's a picture of him in police uniform. Did he want to be in the police or?
Yeah. He wanted to be the police, and in his own words, he wanted to arrest the bad guys and put them where they should be.
Yeah.
The most horrible thing is not being able to watch him grow up and be who he wanted to be. And he was only here for 7 years, but his personality changed every year. And it's trying to go back, thinking what he would have ended up like. Would he have joined the police? And it's just, our life's going to be full with like what ifs and what he would have done, like if he was still here and stuff like that. Robbie was on the settee with Archie watching TV. Finley was asleep in his cot. I kissed them goodnight and I says, I'm going to go to bed with Finley. And then Robbie says, okay, I'll be up soon. He had fell asleep with the telly on. I had went downstairs to turn the telly off, and then I had went back up to bed to go to sleep, and I got woken up. I had shot up and shot back down, and I didn't know where I was. I thought I was like dreaming or something like that, but I had fell on rocks and rubble, and I could feel so much pain. So I knew it wasn't like a soft landing. I knew I was outside. I thought, what's happening? Why am I here? I had woke up with the sound of Finley crying. I couldn't see where he was. I didn't know where I was. And then I had fell asleep, closed my eyes, because I thought, if Finley's gone, then what's the point of being here? Like, I'm gonna go with Finley. And then I heard just loads of commotion outside. I just tried to just keep my eyes shut tight, and then I heard Robbie's voice. He was shouting my name. He was going, where are you? And I went, I don't know. And he was like, where's Finley? And I was like, I don't know, I can't see him. I don't know what's happened. And then Robbie was like, try and move a body part so I can try and identify where you are. I couldn't move, but I managed to get 1 foot out the rubble, and that's where he seen where I was. And as he was moving the rubble off he must have seen where Finley was. So he got Finley out first. And Finley was awake, but he wasn't making any noise, so that paramedics were really worried about him. So the blue lighted me and him to the RVI. And then about half an hour, 45 minutes, Robbie came back from the ambulance, and I was like, where's Archie? He went, I don't know, he's still a missing person, we can't find him. So I was like, he's hiding. All my friends and family were coming down. They were like, oh, he's probably hiding, you know what kids are like. But it was like something deep down, I knew, because I knew that I couldn't get out of that alone, yet alone a 7-year-old boy. And I knew deep down that he wouldn't be able to get out. And then we got sent on the A&E children's ward. where we were told that Archie was no longer here.
Right.
So we lost everything, belongings, sentimental values, stuff of Archie's, like the pictures, the drawings. We even lost the dog as well, Chase. So we had 2 dogs, Chase and Cheska, and we got Chase when Archie was 1 for Christmas. And he used to love Paw Patrol, so he named him after the character Chase. We've managed to find somewhere else out of the area, yeah, but like me and Robbie always say, it's a house that'll never be a home because Archie's not with us.
How did you feel when you found out that's what we were doing?
Furious, like I wouldn't have been better within the situation because the loss of Archie, it's so upsetting, but to find out that his death could have been prevented for people not doing that in an enclosed area, like it just makes us sick. It's sickening. Like they knew the dangers of making cannabis shatter, because as soon as you Google cannabis shatter comes up, warning, do not make in an enclosed area, and obviously a 1-bedroom flat is an enclosed area. And it's a horrible process which has caused a death of my son. So even if people are planning to do it or are doing it now, like, you've got time to stop, you could save a life.
First responders to that scene, it was utter carnage. They worked tirelessly that night and through the coming days, and it could have been so preventable. So preventable. Archie had his whole life ahead of him. His family were upstairs in that flat that night, not knowing what was beneath them. That whole block and the whole community of Benwell, not really understanding or knowing what was going on in that flat, and the tragic circumstances that led to the loss of lives and the loss of people's homes and property and personal belongings that they'll never get back. We were able to rule out a natural gas leak from our gas engineer expert, and through vital evidence recovered from a fingertip search of the scene, we were able to establish that the result of the explosion was due to a build-up of butane gas as a result of butane honey oil being made within that flat that night, which caused an explosion, destroying 6 houses and sadly killing 2 people.
So, we just go back to the butane honey oil.
Yeah.
Can you just explain as kind of briefly as you can what the process was and what they were doing, and what this term cannabis shatter?
Yeah. So butane honey oil is a highly concentrated form of cannabis. So what they need to do is they get the cannabis flower, and it's washed over by your butane gas in a vacuum, and it comes out as a liquid. That liquid is then heated in an oven to get the butane smell and taste away, and then that's melted down again and mixed with gelatine or sweets to be put in moulds and then made into sweets to sell on the streets, or the actual oil itself can be used in vapes. It's highly dangerous. I urge anyone who even wants to think about it or is doing this, either making it, producing it, selling it, to think again. Cannabis shatters lives, and it has in this instance. What they were doing that night was so dangerous, with no respect to the community, for the people who lived around that area, total disregard for them, to make money through cannabis. And I urge people, if they know of this happening in their community, they know that this is happening within their neighbourhoods, to contact the police or contact Crime Stoppers. And what I would say is these are the certain things to look out for. Hoarding of butane gas canisters or discarding of butane gas canisters. If you see this, then please report it. Likewise, if you identify anyone going into properties with strange looking metal material, ovens or vacuums or odd shaped equipment, report it. Obviously, the days and weeks and months after the explosion, there was a lot of speculation. Now that we know what's happened, I hope this is a stark reality check to anyone who is using cannabis or producing it to stop and think about what you can do.
It must have had a big impact on that area.
A huge impact on that area, and I think probably a lasting impact on that area. You know, people were displaced from their homes. A number of people will never go back there. The tragedy that night of losing a child is something that they'll never get over.
I think he understands that, what he's done.
I hope he does. I really hope he does. That family, like Archie's family, will never be the same. The community in Benwell and those people who have been displaced from their homes with nothing will never be the same. I hope he does realise, and I hope that others who are wanting or think or starting to that think that cannabis is the right thing to do, to take it, to eat it, to smoke it, think behind that. What is behind that cannabis? It's dangerous. It could cause the lives of others. You could put yourself in danger. It's not only the health risks, but it's the other things that come with it.
What can you tell me about Jason Law's involvement in all this?
What I can say around Jason Laws is, due to the evidence that we collated as part of the investigation, he would have been a suspect in this investigation if he had survived.
Okay.
Obviously, 2 people lost their lives that night. Archie was asleep on the sofa when the explosion happened. Jason was part of the production of that cannabis. Please let this be a warning for anyone who wants to start doing this dangerous production of cannabis oil to think again.